Jai Gurudev, thank you for joining us today. His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji discussed the revival and consecration of a fragment of the original Somnath Shivlingam, a sacred relic believed to have been destroyed over 1,000 years ago by Mahmud of Ghazni. The fragment, preserved in secrecy for generations, is now said to be consecrated under Gurudev's guidance, marking a significant moment in India's spiritual heritage. Gurudev revealed in January Agri Sayar Raman approached him with the Shivalingam fragment, which he described as possessing a magnetic quality. The fragment, believed to be a piece of the original Somnath Shivlingam, was preserved by Agri Brahmins who fled southward after the temple's destruction. Over the centuries, the fragment remained hidden, with the family of Sitaram Shastri safeguarding it for 21 years. Jai Gurudev. Gurudev, it is an extraordinary development that a fragment of the original Somnath Shivlingam has been discovered. Could you tell us how this significant piece of history was brought to your attention? Yes, it is indeed an incredible discovery. In January, Agri Sayar Raman came to meet me and he brought with him something truly remarkable, a fragment of what he believed to be the original Somnath Shivlingam. As soon as I held it, I could sense a magnetic energy, something very powerful and ancient. This fragment has an extraordinary quality and it holds deep spiritual significance. That is fascinating. Could you elaborate on the historical context of this Shivlingam fragment and how did it survive for over 1,000 years after the temple was destroyed by Mahmud of Ghazni? The original Somnath Shivlingam was one of the 12 Jyotirlingas was destroyed by Mahmud of Ghazni in the 11th century AD. When this happened, many of the priests of Agri Brahmins who were the custodians of the temple fled southward carrying whatever they could to preserve the sanctity of the temple and its relics. This particular fragment was safeguarded by the Agri Brahmins and it has been passed down through generations. It was kept in secret for many centuries, hidden from invaders and plunderers. The family of Sitaram Shastri has been the most recent guardians of this sacred relic. They had preserved it for over 21 years before bringing it to light. It is quite amazing how this fragment has survived all this time and how it has now re emerged at such an important moment in our spiritual journey as a nation. Gurudev, what is the importance of this fragment from a spiritual and historical perspective, and how does it connect to the rich legacy of Somnath? Somnath is one of the most revered temples in India, a symbol of resilience, spirituality, and devotion. It has been rebuilt several times, yet its significance as one of the 12 Jyotirlingas remains unchanged. The original Shivlingam, consecrated millennia ago, held immense spiritual energy. This fragment is a direct connection to that original energy. From a spiritual perspective, it is not just a piece of stone, it holds vibrations that can uplift and transform people. Shivlingams, particularly those like Somnath, have the ability to focus cosmic energies, helping to balance the environment and human minds. This fragment, having been part of the original Somnath temple, carries that same potent spiritual power. From a historical perspective, it is a tangible link to our ancient past. The story of the destruction and rebuilding of the Somnath temple is also the story of India's resilience and undying devotion. This Shivalingam fragment is a living reminder of our cultural and spiritual legacy, and its rediscovery is very significant for us today. Now that this Shivalingam fragment has been discovered, what are the plans for its future and will it be publicly consecrated? Yes, the plan is to take this sacred fragment on a spiritual journey across India. It will visit various Jyotirlinga temples so that devotees can have the opportunity to feel its presence and energy. This journey will give people a chance to reconnect with their heritage and offer prayers to the Shivalingam, which is a true relic of India's spiritual past. Ultimately, the journey will culminate at the Somnath temple, where we are in discussions with the Prime Minister and other state authorities to facilitate a grand consecration. We want to ensure that this sacred fragment finds its rightful place in Somnath, the home it was taken from more than 1,000 years ago. That sounds like a beautiful plan, Gurudev. What kind of impact do you expect this consecration and journey to have on devotees and society at large? The impact of such a spiritual event is always profound. When people come into contact with objects of deep spiritual significance like this Shivalingam fragment, they experience a shift in their own energy. It brings a sense of peace, clarity, and devotion. The Shivlingam, in particular, has a magnetic power. It helps focus the mind, lifts energy, and clears away negative vibrations. When devotees come into its presence, they will feel this transformation. It has the potential to bring a collective sense of spiritual upliftment, not just to individuals but to society as a whole. Spiritually, this consecration will restore a piece of our ancient heritage, reminding us of the deep spiritual roots of our civilization. It is also a matter of national pride. This is a moment to celebrate India's spiritual resilience and the timelessness of our culture. As we come together to witness this consecration, it will help people feel more connected to their roots, to the ancient wisdom that has guided us for millennia. Gurudev, what do you think is the broader significance of such discoveries in today's world where materialism and distractions often dominate? And how do they help us connect with our spiritual essence? In today's fast paced world where material pursuits often take precedence, such discoveries help us pause and reflect on the deeper purpose of life. We are constantly bombarded by distractions, and many people feel a lack of connection to our true self. When something like this Shivalingam fragment is discovered, it reminds us of the enduring spiritual truths that are beyond time and space. This fragment is a symbol of continuity, a link between the past and the present, and it serves as a reminder of our spiritual essence. The energy it holds is timeless, and it speaks to that part of us which is also timeless, the soul. In moments like this, we can reconnect with that eternal part of ourselves, and it can bring a lot of peace and clarity in our lives. These discoveries are also important for society as a whole. They help us remember our shared cultural and spiritual heritage, which can unite people across different regions and backgrounds. It is a moment to come together in devotion and reverence, transcending the divisions that often dominate today's world. Lastly, Gurudev, how can individuals best prepare themselves to receive the blessings and energy of the Shivalingam during its journey across India? The best way to prepare is to approach this journey with an open heart and a sense of devotion. When you come into the presence of a sacred relic like this, it's important to be receptive. Practices like meditation, chanting, and pranayama can help calm the mind and open the heart, allowing you to feel the spiritual vibrations more deeply. Devotion is key. Whether you chant Om Namah Shivaya or simply offer your prayers in silence, it's important to connect with the energy of the Shivalingam on a personal level. Approach it with a sense of reverence and gratitude, and it will bless you with peace, clarity, and spiritual strength. Gurudev, you mentioned earlier that the Shivlingam fragment will be taken on a spiritual journey across India before its final consecration at Somnath. Could you share more about how this journey will unfold and what is the symbolic importance of pilgrimage? This journey is not just a physical one. It's a spiritual pilgrimage that carries deep symbolic significance. As the Shivlingam fragments travels from one Jyotirlinga temple to another, it will unite devotees across the country in a shared experience of devotion. Each Jyotirlinga represents a unique aspect of Shiva, and as the sacred fragment passes through each of these temples, it will absorb the collective energies of the millions of devotees who offer their prayers. This is not merely a ritualistic act, it is a way to invoke the divine grace of Lord Shiva for the well being of humanity. As the Shivalinga moves across India, it symbolizes the omnipresence of Shiva and the unity of all beings under his cosmic dance of creation and dissolution. The journey will also foster a deeper connection between devotees and the sacredness of their land, reminding them of the deep spiritual heritage that India holds. The pilgrimage will culminate at Somnath, one of the most revered Jyotirlingas, where the fragment will be consecrated with the same sacredness that has been accumulated throughout the journey. The idea of a spiritual pilgrimage connecting different parts of the country is quite profound. What do you hope devotees will experience or realize through their participation in this journey? Pilgrimage is a time for introspection, a journey inward as much as it is outward. As devotees participate in the journey either physically or through their prayers, they are reminded that every step on this earth is sacred, that life itself is a pilgrimage toward higher consciousness. I hope that through this journey, people will experience a sense of oneness, not only with the divine, but also with each other. There is so much division in the world today, and we forget that the essence of spirituality is unity. I hope that this pilgrimage will serve as a reminder that we are all connected by the same divine light. When we truly understand this, our hearts open and we begin to live more compassionately and harmoniously. Speaking of harmony and unity, Gurudev, Art of Living has been promoting these ideals through various social and humanitarian initiatives. How does this pilgrimage align with the larger mission of the Art of Living Foundation? The Art of Living Foundation has always worked toward creating a stress free and violence free society. Our mission is to spread peace, love, and unity through the principles of spiritual wisdom. This pilgrimage is yet another way to fulfill that mission. By bringing people together in devotion and love for Lord Shiva, we are fostering a sense of belonging and interconnectedness. It is in this shared space of devotion that people can transcend their individual identities, which are often the cause of conflict and division, and experience themselves as part of something larger. The journey of the Shivalingam is a journey of transformation for all who participate, whether directly or indirectly. The funds raised and the collective energy generated during the pilgrimage will also be channeled into social causes supporting education, health, and environmental sustainability initiatives. This way, the spiritual energy generated is translated into tangible acts of service, benefiting society at large. The Shivalingam's consecration at Somnath will be a historic moment. Gurudev, could you share more about the rituals that will take place during the consecration ceremony? The consecration at Somnath will be a grand event filled with deep spiritual practices and ancient rituals. The ceremony will begin with Vedic chants performed by priests from various traditions invoking the divine energy of Lord Shiva. These mantras are not just words, they carry vibrations that purify the space and create an atmosphere of immense spiritual power. There will be offerings of sacred substances like water from the holy rivers, milk, honey, and ghee. Each of these offerings symbolizes purity, nourishment, and devotion. The Shivalingam will be bathed in these substances, which will also be offered to all the devotees who are present as a form of prasad. Following the consecration, there will be mass meditations and satsangs for several days. This is important because meditation amplifies the spiritual energy of the space. When thousands of people meditate together, the vibrations created are so powerful that they uplift not only those present but the entire environment. It is said that the energy in such sacred spaces can even impact the consciousness of people living far away. Gurudev, what is the significance of Somnath itself as a location for this sacred event? Somnath is one of the most ancient and revered Jyotirlingas in India. It is said that the moon god Soma worshipped the Lord Shiva here to regain its lost radiance, and Shiva blessed him with restored vitality. The story of Soma symbolizes the cyclical nature of life with its phases of decline and renewal. Somnath therefore represents hope, rejuvenation, and the infinite grace of Lord Shiva. By consecrating this fragment of the Shivalingam at Somnath, we are invoking rejuvenation of humanity. The world today is in need of healing, physical, mental, and spiritual. Somnath, being a site of renewal, is the perfect place to invoke Lord Shiva's blessings for this. It sounds like the event at Somnath will be a deeply transformative experience for all involved. Gurudev, as someone who has guided millions on their spiritual paths, what advice would you give to devotees who want to deepen their connection to Lord Shiva and this journey? The path to deepening one's connection with Lord Shiva or any divine energy is through surrender and devotion. Shiva is both the destroyer and the creator. He represents the end of ignorance and the beginning of wisdom. To connect with him, you must be willing to let go of your attachments, your ego, and limited ideas of yourself. Practice silence, meditation, and devotion. Chanting Om Namah Shiva is a powerful practice to connect with the energy of Lord Shiva. This mantra is not just a sound, it carries the essence of Shiva within it. When you chant it with awareness, you invite his presence into your heart. And also remember, when the divine is not somewhere outside of you, Shiva resides within you in your very breath. The more you align yourself with the rhythms of nature and the universe, the closer you come to experiencing the divine within yourself. Thank you, Gurudev, for sharing these insights. As a final question, how can those who may not be able to attend the pilgrimage or consecration in person still be a part of this spiritual journey? Spiritual journeys are not confined to physical presence. Even if you cannot be there in person, you can still connect to the energy of the pilgrimage by meditating, praying, and chanting from wherever you are. When your intention is pure and your heart is open, distance does not matter. You will still receive the blessings. We will also make sure that the entire journey and consecration are streamed online so that people from all over the world can participate virtually. Technology allows us to stay connected, and the energy of devotion transcends physical barriers. So I invite everyone to join in this historic journey in whatever they can, where they can, and be a part of this collective spiritual awakening, Jagurudev.